Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your host, Jerry Alexander, from another day. This is brain food, money, keep love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, traders from around the world, boys and girls, legends and legendettes? I hope everyone's doing absolutely incredible. It's Friday, yay! Friday is here. What a beautiful week, a busy week for a lot of us, for a lot of traders. It was this was a week. June is a battle. I'm loving it. Loving June. BC Chandra says, hey Jay and everybody, how's it going? Sharon, how are you? Hope you're doing fantastic. For those people in the recording land, hello. Bill, what's up? Drake, Miss Francoise, Jean, Jeff, Martin. Hope you and your wife, Jeff, are doing awesome. Janet, what's going on? Justin, how are you? Linda, it's a pleasure. Michael Baldwin, Neil, Santosh, Walt, Winnie, Al, what's going on, team? Hope everyone's doing fantastic. So Friday is here. Option expiration is here. So for my option sellers, this was a pretty fun day. Good into the week. This is also just so happens to be the last day of open house. Womp, womp, womp. So that week went by very fast. As you all know, the opportunity to join is in front of you. So if you want to, feel free to join next week. I'll be sending out new links to everybody and the new webinar links for the morning and the afternoon room. We'll just start kicking off June and heading into earnings season. Keep that in mind. Earnings season is in July and August, right around the corner. So if you had fun with the gaps this week and fun with the swing trades, you can only imagine what happens during earnings season. So pretty pumped about that. Let's go ahead and turn off the video just in case you have any kids around. I don't want them to get scared. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the broad markets really quick. Today is Finance Friday, and here's the list of stocks that we're going to be checking out today. So on the SPY, we had a little bit of selling come in today, just a tad. We did not close below any kind of major support or anything. Here's the weekly chart. And granted, today is a little bit of a bearish candle. Of that, I will agree. This is a new black crow, which means it's a bearish candle that opens and closes below the prior day white candle's close. Got a support right here, which came in from this new white soldier candle. So on the SPY, I still don't have any positions, no spreads, nothing of any kind. If SPY trades down into this 239 price range over the next 2 or 3 weeks, which it very well could do and probably will. If that happens, it's safe to say that we bounced off the 50 before. Long term, IRAs, 401ks, all those things should be fine. Shouldn't have any issues with those right now on the SPY. Don't foresee there being a problem. Here's the weekly chart. We did not close with an inside week candle. I talked about that yesterday and was looking to see if we're going to close. So we did not. So again, I think we're going to pull back a little bit farther on the SPY. You might remember at the beginning of the week, I kind of drew that something like this to occur. You'll notice we actually haven't bounced off the 20 EMA on the weekly. So the trend is still bullish long term. Short term, I don't see anything that I'm just in love with as far as a shorter term trade on the SPY. So that's the case. It is what it is. Here's the IWM, and the IWM. This was a credit spread that we got into a while ago. 131, 130 bull put spread that we got into on the 12th of May. So that was all the way back here. All the way back there when we got into that trade, and that trade at this particular point in time has expired worthless. So that one's good to go. Going to options heaven. So we're going to be looking at a few credit spreads that expired today for some traders. Here's the Dow ETF. And the Dow ETF, you'll notice we drew this blue line actually early this morning. I will be sending you a copy of the early morning recording as well. So really just a plethora of information that we got recorded this week for all the traders around the world. So it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to provide that at least 12 hours of content this week that's recorded for the open house. It will remain on YouTube for as long as you guys want me to keep it up there. The Dow, still a bullish trend. We're trading to a little bit of a support. Today, was an inside candle on the Dow. Here's the weekly chart, and again, we got a lot of good bullish trend on the Dow. So everything looks strong on the Dow, nothing really to worry about yet. And then the Qs had a very interesting day. The Qs lost on that particular trade, lost an R on an option trade that we placed yesterday. Qs, I can take all this off. You'll notice, and we talked about this one yesterday, it did trade back down to that support again today and kind of bounced a little bit off the 50. So this is now 3 times, even though it was a very small bounce, it was a bounce off the 50, which could have been traded for a very small gain on the weekly options. It was not, definitely was not a big one. Would have been a pretty tiny little move. All right, give me a second. Gotta shoot this quick text message over here. Perfect. All right, so that's the Qs. And of course, today is Finance Friday, so let's look at the financial ETF, which again looks pretty strong. FAS on the daily chart. A lot of volume coming in, a big resistance right here. So nice resistance breaking out. Again, the volume looks strong. This is one of those situations where it's going to be either A, a buy the dip scenario where we pull back and bounce, or B, if we do continue to trade sideways on FAS and we break out. I mean, the trend still looks bullish to me. I think we're going to put JP Morgan on the list because I did get into a debit spread all the way out there for July. But I'll probably lose an R on JP Morgan. So I need to make a few R's in June, which is already halfway over and it's not looking good. So June's going to be a battle. We'll see. May everything came easy. Everything came easy in May. So I will be traveling in June. That's usually kind of my reward for profitably trading is if I have a good month, which is usually 8R or more, then I'll go traveling. And if I don't, then I'll just kind of stay put. So we'll see how June wraps up if I do any traveling in July. But June, I will be going to the Boston area. If you are around, I'll be in Boston June, what day is that? June 27th? Let me just check. Yeah, June 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then I'll be in New York City July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then I'll be in Connecticut July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I fly back on the 5th. Anyway, just FYI. Sharon says, I'm going to join. Yeah. All right. Awesome, awesome. Justin says, can you please add Apple to your list? I can. Sure thing, man. I'll put Apple on here. Put it down here somewhere. All right, so here's Apple. Perfect. Let's go look at JP Morgan. So some of you might remember on JP Morgan, this was what appeared to be at least a head and shoulders pattern on the weekly chart. So head and shoulders pattern on the weekly. We got in to this particular trade, an 80-75 bear put spread, which is a debit spread, meaning the whole option costs 85 cents. So if you bought one contract on the 80 and sold one contract on the 75, you spent 85 bucks minus, not including commission. So not a very expensive trade. And again, JP Morgan was the only one that was closing below support, right? So keep that in mind. It was the only one. And a few other ones, I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work out. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out. Anyway, a lot of the other banks bounced. Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. Again, we'll kind of throw some of those on the list today. We'll just kind of review them. This is the financial sector, Finance Friday. Interest rates going up, right? And I think that's going to have a little bit of a positive impact on the banks, potentially. I think people are factoring in. I mean, interest rates have to go up at some point. They're not going to be able to stay at zero. They are slowly creeping higher. So with banks, I mean, as the interest rates go higher, you know, they make more money the higher interest rates go. So JP Morgan, we'll see what it does. I don't know if this debit spread is going to work out or not. Probably not, but we'll find out. JP Morgan, here's Bank of America. A lot of people love trading Bank of America. Miss Francoise, how'd you do on Bank of America? I know you love playing this one with your weekly options. So Bank of America, you know, depending on how you draw this trend line, you'll notice it did act as a pretty good support. We bounced it down here a few times. Here's your long-term moving averages, and we just kind of stopped randomly right in the middle. So it really just depends on how you draw it. I kind of drew this like tilted neckline looking thing. A lot of traders had a support like this, which worked out really, really well. All right, so that was a good support. You have a little bit of a resistance right about here. So, as far as the short-term play on Bank of America, it looks like a buy low, sell high to me. Again, at this price, I don't think this one works out. Something like this. I can probably bring this line up and put it. Oops, sorry about that. Give me 2 seconds. 1001, 1002. All right, bring that up to there. And that's kind of what we have on Bank of America. So the cool part is, if, keyword if, spelled IF, if Bank of America rolls back over down into this area, I think it does make a lower low, pulls into the 200, and probably presents a good buying opportunity. Because again, a lot of people are going to short it there. So if you're looking at shorting Bank of America, this is probably the location right now. And if it trades back into that support, right, buy low, sell high. That's something you just got to keep your eyes on, keep in mind. Here's Morgan Stanley, ticker symbol MS. Melanie, I'm laughing at your dart picture that you posted in Slack. Melanie has some kids, and she was saying, from one parent to another, from who works from home, do you have to dodge Nerf bullets? Oh, that's great. That's solid. Morgan Stanley, we can see Morgan Stanley traded down to its really good support. I know my buddy Robert has a lot of shares of Wells Fargo, so I could probably put Wells Fargo on the list. But really, the interesting thing about Morgan Stanley, if we zoom out here on a weekly chart, you'll notice the all-time high on Morgan Stanley back in 72 before the 08 crash, we are slowly getting back to that level. And this is a pretty solid resistance around 46. This, to me, looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave count. And this wave 4 is going to get ugly. So, in fact, this is where here, let me just go ahead and kind of post that analysis. I think I could actually post 2 or 3 wave counts. Give me a second. I say a second. Give me a little bit longer than a second. I'm gonna drop some Elliott waves on here. Type in a 1 if you've never seen my Elliott wave video. I can send that to you if you haven't. I think this wave 4 is going to last a little longer. And there's the wave 5. And then I think we got this one. Where would that wave 4 be? Right there. That's a wave 5. And then this is going to be the ABC wave. ABC. Okay. Sorry. You got stuck. My drawing tool got stuck. All right, Sharon, and then Santosh. Wave count on Morgan Stanley. Just my thoughts. I think wave 4 lasts a bit longer. Still appears to be a buy low, sell high. All right, tags, Elliott wave, Morgan Stanley. And Elliott waves can be fun for shorter term trades, but I like them for more longer term. It helps kind of keep you in. So Sharon said she's never seen that video before. All right. So let me hop over to reallifetrading.com. And I'm sure there's other people sharing, so I appreciate you being the brave one. Santosh says, Morgan Stanley and Bank of America, won't they bounce back the next week due to the interest rate increase? Yes, sir. Just said that. Me and you are tracking, my man. We are tracking. I think so. Waves. That's a cool article. I forgot I wrote that one. Is it wave? Sometimes I forget the search function on here. I need to make it a little bit better. I could type in Elliott. I'm sure it'll come up. All you need to know about Elliott wave. There we go. So anyone who wants to watch that video, I'll post that in the chat pane. And of course, if you are watching the recorded version of this, just type all you need to know about Elliott wave into really Google search, and this will pop up. All right, cool. So that's my wave count, Morgan Stanley, simply saying, and yeah, Santosh, I think me and you are tracking perfectly, my friend. Yeah, I think we bounce back through interest rates and eventually go a little bit higher. So maybe a soft pullback and then eventually keep creeping up. And Wells Fargo for you, Robert, Wells Fargo, he's got some serious shares, and this one was a really good pullback. Again, longer term pattern. What's strong about Wells Fargo, a lot of people don't know this, but this was actually one of the stronger banks in '08. It did, of course, drop, but long term, it has now broken the 2008 highs and really didn't have that much exposure in the 2008 crash. So it'll probably, if I just hide all the moving averages here for a bit, more than likely, Robert, we're going to keep doing what we're doing right now, which is, we're making higher lows, relative high. We're going to keep chopping around, eventually break out higher, more than likely. But until then, I know you're looking at selling some covered call premiums. You're absolutely right. There's not a lot of premium right now. This is the daily chart, and this could be a flag. If you did any covered call, it could simply be at a shorter term right above that resistance. I know you don't want to necessarily get rid of your shares, but of course with covered calls, you'd always buy one back. So like a June week 5. June week 5, which would be next week at 56, no premium, 55.50, not really that much either, only 15 cents. It's one of the challenges with a really strong blue chip stock to do covered calls. If you do an August 60, though, August 60 might have some premium. Nope, I thought it would. August 60 has 8 entire cents. All right, never mind. I guess we'll have to keep holding on Wells Fargo. Okay, so this one is for Brandon, my good buddy Brandon Mayfield on Buffalo Wild Wings. So Buffalo Wild Wings, here's the daily chart. And right now, what's interesting about this one, so Brandon, I know you said you have July, so you have a long time for your spread to unravel. And the thing with spread unraveling, let me kind of just read your question. I'm going to bring it over here. This was something he asked me on Slack. And again, I love this application. Some of you might have heard that Amazon appears to be buying Slack. So I don't know exactly how it's going to change after that, but we'll see. Anyway, so Brandon says, what's your formula for an exit unravel price for spreads? Or what is the video name I'm sure your awesome self has made? So I'll cover Buffalo Wild Wings, but the video, Brandon, I will post it in here for you. I'm just going to talk about it. If you are unknown to credit spreads, you guys don't know what it is, it's okay. By no means you do not need to know this. Mitigate risk with credit spreads. And here's the video for it, Brandon. Here's the video. And really it all comes down to when a support or resistance is broken, like when it's confirmed broken. So for example, your spread is right here, right? And what you want to ensure, which you obviously don't want to happen, is you don't want this to occur because that would be bad. Could this happen on Buffalo Wild Wings? Absolutely, because it is trading into a support. And that's really why you did the spread down there, is because it is below the support right here. It's kind of close to it. The challenge with this one is this particular support, the fact that it broke that candle bullish and broke that candle bullish. Having a bull put spread, my formula is once you have a spread and the support, if it's a bull put spread, the support that you place the spread under has confirmed broken, which Buffalo Wild Wings has. If you have time on the spread, which you do, usually an unravel is better. So what that means is buying to close the 135 sold put and hanging on to the 130 put. Here's the weekly chart, and there's no moving averages down here. You'll notice it again on a weekly chart, it closed below some support. So realistically, you have two scenarios. Scenario number one is you exit, and you just exit the spread. Let's say it retests early next week, which is probably what's going to happen. You retest, you buy to close the 135, you sell to close the 130, and you lose a little bit of money. That's usually scenario number one. That's the most comfortable one, especially with a $5 spread like this one. So this is a $5 spread, meaning the stock has to really move down here for you to make some money. Now, if it does retest, which it probably will, it did have a retest gap today. So if it retests sometime tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and let's say you buy to close the 135, hang on to the 130 put, which now becomes out of the money, OTM, out of the money. And this happens, you become rich. And so that's always the fun part, right? But it is an out of the money option. And since it's out of the money, it can expire and go to zero very, very quickly. So what you want to do is you want to come up with a time frame for how quickly you want, anticipate, or need that stock to roll over. And usually for me, it's a week max. So if you do exit this trade, then neither spread matters and it's fine. If you unravel and the trade does go lower, since it did break some really, really, really good support right here, that trade, if Buffalo Wild Wings continues lower, you get paid very handsomely. And then, of course, since it is all the way out until July, this could also happen where it trades into your spread and then bounces. That's also a possibility. This is most often what will happen, by the way. So out of the three scenarios, holding, unraveling, or exiting, unraveling has the biggest risk potential and the biggest reward potential. Exiting the spread has risk potential, but very small. And holding it's right in the middle. Holding has small rewards, bigger risk, but still some risk, and has a better chance of actually working out. So those are kind of the three scenarios. You let me know from there which one you want to do. To compass that, again, so here's MetLife. And type in a 1 if you have no idea what a credit spread is. This is just totally going over your head. If this is, it's okay. Don't be ashamed. I do have classes that will teach you entirely for free. But you don't have to know them, right, in order to make money. It's all right. You don't need to have credit spreads as part of your repertoire to profitably trade the afternoon rooms or be a part of the trade. This is just a strategy that, guys, I'm a nerd. I've been trading for almost 10 years. I know every strategy out there. So some traders like them, right? Some traders come just to do credit spreads in the afternoon class. Some traders come just to learn something else. But if you do hop over to YouTube, well, if you type in credit spreads in real life, if you type in anything, type in credit spreads in real life trading or credit spreads in real life, you'll probably get my videos. So there's my top 3 videos right there on Google, top 3 searches. So if you want to learn about them, I can save you about $4,000 just by watching these 2 free videos. If you guys are interested in saving some money. All right, so MetLife, this particular trade was also a credit spread. Now this is the one that I did do and we posted. This was an official credit spread. And I haven't done many of these because the option premium was so low. But bottom line, a credit spread is very simple for those who don't know. The spread says as long as the stock stays above this area, I make money. That's pretty much what the spread does. I sell options and buy some options. So Linda, those videos are not for beginners. They're a little bit more advanced. Yep. So if you're a brand new beginner, don't even worry about those right now. It'll come later. So this particular spread, here is the long-term moving averages. So Brandon, this one did go inside my spread. So you'll notice right here, it did hit my spread unravel or exit price, and I had plenty of time left. I could have unraveled. If I would have unraveled this trade, I would have gotten hosed. The reason I did not, here's the weekly chart, and we traded right down to the 200 simple on a weekly. So that's why I did the spread where I did it. It was below the 200 simple on the daily and the weekly. And the fact that it never closed below the weekly chart, and when it was about to, it had this like doji candle right here, but it never really closed below that weekly and just kind of started bouncing up. I didn't really worry about it. So that one got close. It did go into my spread. I did have an unrealized loss for about 2 weeks on that trade and didn't start getting profitable until about a week ago. Now, on the side note of that, for my traders who don't really care about credit spreads, this, again, today is when all of these options are expiring. That's the thing. That's why I'm looking at them. So even though a lot of people did type in some 1s, there's about 45 other traders watching this that fully understand credit spreads, and they're very fun, profitable strategies. All those spreads became profitable today. It's almost like betting on the market that it won't do something, if you will. Or if you want to think about it another way, options are insurance, right? That's how they were created. So what we're doing is we're selling insurance to people, And if the markets don't crash, we collect the premium for the insurance. So that's really what we did. And MetLife, though, on a daily and weekly chart, this looks like a good little bounce right here. Nice double bottom, close above the neckline. You got this little congestion right here. So MetLife, keep your eyes on this one. This would be a long-term trade. Why do I say that? It's MetLife. You know, look at it on a weekly chart. Does this stock scream bullish to you? What do you guys think? No. No, it's pretty sideways. It's the exact same price now it was in 2007. So yeah, it's a longer term trade or a bullish to neutral trade if you're placing it. What do I mean by long term? I mean own some shares, get some dividends, don't expect anything sexy. Maybe you get 10% return in 5 years and it's safe. So anyway, that's MetLife. All right, next is Lockheed Martin, another bull put spread that expired worthless. So here's Lockheed Martin. Back on the 19th of May, we got into a 260, 255 bull put spread, which again, for my traders who are new to the room, it was actually kind of simple. On this day right here, right there, on that day, May 19th, I said, hey, as long as Lockheed Martin doesn't get below 260, I want to make 20% return. So that's what we did. So we did a 260, 255 bull put spread. That one expired worthless. Nice bullish gap, nice volume, all that stuff. So Lockheed Martin expired. For those of you who have trades on this one or shares, look at this retest gap. Here's the short-term retest. Blue. Here's the longer-term retest. Blue. And it's a great hammerish candle, a little bit of a lower shadow. Longer term, this one looks bullish. Here's the weekly chart, and this is kind of my 2017 easy target of 298.24. On the weekly chart, that looks like an amazing retest gap. So I think we probably continue higher on Lockheed Martin. Other than that, I think that was the only trade most traders were in. Now let's go look at some trades. I don't know how many of you brand new traders to the room were in this trade, but we did get stopped out of MCK. So it looked really good yesterday. I did think about exiting it yesterday because there were a lot of drug retailer companies getting beat up yesterday, and MCK was not. But I was like, maybe that's a strong sign. Turns out, wasn't a strong sign. Wasn't a strong sign. So MCK stopped us out for a 1R loss. Now, back on the 9th of June, I was like, large chance I'm going to lose on that trade. It was an aggressive trade. I realized that. I should have entered that trade back here after the gap occurred. And we almost did. I had an entry. We had an entry right here with a stop right there. And we placed that trade after this candle closed, but we never got filled on that day. Never got filled. So it would have been 2R. Tried it again. And with the whole Whole Foods and Costco and CVS and Kroger tank that happened today, I figured MCK would also tank as well. So here was here's the support resistance that we might pull back at this at some point. We'll see if we trade that one later, but no big deal. Now, even though that was a loss, the good news is we did win on Zoe's. So here's ZOES. So the Zoe's trade, this was an aggressive trade. We had this one open since Monday. So everyone in the afternoon room had access to take this trade. Our entry was here. Our stop was here. And we made more on this trade than we lost on MCK. That's pretty much the goal, right? So you lost on one trade, won on another trade. I knew this was going to be a quick trade, right? We talked about it in depth on Wednesday and on Tuesday. And the trade triggered right down to that target. That was our target. I knew it would be a quick one. I don't know how I knew. I just knew. And so that was our target to exit for a little bit more than an R gain on ticker symbol ZOES. So that was a fun trade. We're done on that one. So again, for those of you, here's the Zoe's. And again, this was what that chart looked like before it triggered. Right? So we got barely more than an R gain, but we did. We exited that target. So that's what that trade looked like before that trade triggered. So good setup on Zoe's. And the other two, Macy's, we're still in Macy's. I was hoping it would be much more bearish today with the target move, but it looks like it won't be. So I will wait until Monday to move the stop. Next Monday is Merchant Monday. So I'll let us battle that 20 a little bit, and then I'm gonna come up with a plan that says, hey, if it doesn't go lower, I'll just exit Macy's for a little bit of a gain. Because again, there was a lot of retail stock that just got destroyed today, and Macy's really didn't. So nice pennant pattern. It doesn't look like it's gonna break down. I guess you never know, but this weekly chart is over. Here's the weekly chart. It was an inside week, but we'll see. So that one doesn't really work out that great. That's fine. And we got triggered into two other trades while we're here together. So here's Yelp, YELP. So Yelp had a little bit of a bullish candle yesterday, battling today. We're at a half R unrealized loss on Yelp thus far. And HDS also triggered yesterday. I like the lower shadows that we got today and yesterday. So we'll see if HDS actually ends up bouncing off of the 200 simple on the weekly chart. So that's why we got into HDS, kind of a buy low, sell high. So who knows, right? Usually when you get into a trade, they always look terrible. And then just randomly one day they'll work is often the way it is. So sometimes it's better just kind of forget about them and move on. But that's HDS and Yelp. Throw those on the list. All right, so again, reviewing some other trades for a few other traders. Here is Weight Watchers. My good buddy Bob is in some June 30 calls on Weight Watchers, and this 29.13, I think we hit the target today. So Weight Watchers had a huge move. Here is the weekly chart, and this does look like a cup and handle pattern for those of you who are familiar with that one. Some kind of cup and handle right there. Good break, huge resistance. So Bob, on this one, it fully depends and determines how you have that resistance line drawn to come up with your target. So 29.13, here's the daily chart. And if you have your line drawn a little bit differently, understandable, but really good resistance right here. Probably trade to a target today. Perfect doji. 1 penny away from a perfect doji today. Trend still looks good though, Bob. So if anything, I guess you could have your stop below the low of today and see if that trade continues. So you got 2 weeks left on your call options. Well done. Next on the list is CNP. I think my buddy Gary requested this one yesterday. Centerpoint Energy. So Centerpoint, one of the few energy stocks that are making higher highs. And again, kind of back to what I was talking about the other day, when you find a stock or a stock in a particular sector and it's doing something different than everything else, right? So Centerpoint has been doing that. So as this trade is moving, really, really good breakout, really good volume coming in at that bounce. Here was that all-time high. It broke out the all-time high, resisted the all-time high as a retest. So things are going pretty good. So here's the daily chart, and the daily chart on Centerpoint. Nice little trend pulling down to the 50 EMA. Bouncing off the moving average. I mean, so again, the trend looks good. So at this point, Gary, I mean, the volume is increasing. Trend is bullish. Really, you just have to find the target. So let's see if I can find a target based on that previous wave rotation, because this looks, if you're currently in, looks nice. If you're not in, might have missed most of the bullish move. Look for a buy the dip opportunity. Nice fib angle right there. So we're actually getting really close to a target, that 29.23, which would explain why we're trading sideways. And then ultimately, though, 32.04 would be a good target, but we're going to take our sweet, sweet time getting up to there. So hopefully that helps, man. Jabba says, Jeremy, since stop losses don't work at night, what happens if unexpectedly the stop jumps, drops outside the stop set price? Just realize the loss or wait for a bit? Normally you realize the loss. Yep. That will happen from time to time. I mean, that's really about it. I'll say that's going to happen every now and then. It won't be horrifically terrible. That's why we try to avoid trading stocks over earnings unless you're going to hold long term, right? If you're going to hold stocks over earnings, make sure to have some type of protection. AKA Kroger, Costco, Whole Foods, whatever. So if you're going over earnings, you never know how they're going to report. So buy some options and protect yourself over earnings, because that's usually when the massive gap happens, is over earnings. Otherwise, sure, you can get some small gaps every now and then. And you can get stopped out. Sometimes it'll be a 2R loss or 1.5R loss, but it won't be horrific. Kroger did end up bouncing most of the day. Now, the sentiment on this one is easy. A lot of traders early this morning were looking to short Kroger, but we never really placed a short trade on Kroger in the morning. And most traders made some money on this one bullish. Do you know why? We were talking about the sentiment. This is a blue chip dividend paying stock that was down 30% in 2 days. This is not a random biotech pharmaceutical company, all right? This is Kroger, biggest grocer in the world. So people are going to look to buy it, you know? And here's the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, it was just really, really rocking, really moving. And I mean, look at that candle. So you're talking a serious move down, a big break of support. Do you have any shares, Ryan? He says, nope. All right. So, yeah, so that would be one of those situations where over earnings, you want to protect yourself. But this looks like it's pulling into a great buying location. You'll notice we actually had some traders in Slack talking about their plan on Kroger. So if I kind of zoom up in here. So Cameron said I bought Kroger at 21.63. So he's up a little bit. But again, just based on that sentiment, even though it was a retest gap, right? Black candle gapping down. Sometimes you just got to realize it's like, man, this was really, really extended, right? Really extended. Chava says, of course, our hedge is partially that we don't use small caps. Is partially one of the reasons we don't use small cap. That is correct. Yes, a lot of small cap stocks don't have options. Yep, you got it, man. Ryan says, I'd like to be doing something sometime soon, but gotta get that plan down. I hear you, champ mode. I got your email. I will reply to it this weekend. Just got to read the whole thing 2 or 3 times. I don't want to just gloss over and shoot you like a, all right, cool. You know, I want to give you an actual reply. Yeah. So here's the VREX. VREX. I like this higher low. I like this relative high. Again, I don't know who requested this stock, but it's totally fine, right? That's why I love the afternoon room. Everybody's doing all kinds of stuff. Really good higher lows coming in. Good triangle. This is a weekly chart. I'm sorry, this is a daily chart. So if at some point this thing breaks out, let's see what happens from here. Should be good. Vinny says, is this a good stock for a spread? VREX or Kroger? Job says, guys, Jeremy and team have been handling possibly over 300 people this week, so probably don't sleep, and they'll get through the emails by the end of the month. No, man, I got caught up on most of my emails. Yeah, it's true. I even got 2 or 3 that I owe you. So, yeah, man. I appreciate you guys being patient, though. It's very, very kind of you. Very kind. I have gotten a lot of emails, which is a good thing, right? The mission is real. Enriching lives every day, folks. Man, the amount of emails that I got this week of just happiness, generosity. I had one sweet lady, I don't know if she's here right now. I had one sweet lady send me a bag of chocolates. What? Who does that? I was like, thank you so much. So kind of you, because she texted me and wanted to get my address so she can mail me some chocolate. Anyway, you guys are just amazing people. That's a simple fact. You're just incredible people. And it's all because of you. All the success of real life trading, the way that we're impacting people's lives, the amount that we're really truly pouring into people's lives across the world, all because of you. VREX, Vinny, I've never done a spread on this one in my life, man. So I actually can't answer that question. I'm looking at the option chain right now. It does not look like a good stock for spreads. Ryan says a bag of chocolates. I can't compete with that. Nope. Who can compete with a bag of chocolates, man? What else is there in life? That's the pinnacle right there. Sit by the pool and eat chocolate. Oh, geez. Am I in heaven? Square. Type in a 2 if you own any Square. I love the stock long term. I love the company long term. Fundamentally, technically, everything about this looks solid. If you don't have any shares right now, keep waiting. Exponential moving averages are slowly catching up. But if and when this thing breaks out of this pattern, don't be afraid of it. It's not a super expensive stock. I agree that it doesn't pay dividends. This stock will double in the next year. That's my call out. It's going to keep going higher. They have really good fundamentals. The trend looks great. You broke out of this range. Here's worst case scenario, and I'd be willing to make a wager on this one, but it's just so far out. I usually don't make wagers that last more than like 4 months, but I'd be willing to wager that we don't break the low of this candle for at least 2 years. This is worst case scenario for the bulls. If this happens, I'm loading up heavy. Santosh says, will it get added to your summer portfolio? It might. It might. We will see what it adds to my summer portfolio. I need to write that sometime. Richard said, the product is pretty solid. I've had some experience with it. Can't really complain. Same here. Yeah, same here. Good product, easy to use, right? So it's a point of sale, merchant services. My vision, I think they get bought out by Visa, MasterCard, Amex. They get bought out by one of the big companies in 5 or 6 years. Could be wrong, but hey, even if you put $100, you can buy some shares of this. You know, remember, keep in mind that a lot of traders. Have you ever heard or read one of those articles? Is like, if you bought Microsoft when it IPO'd for $200, you'd have 40 million or whatever it is. You know, have you guys ever heard that? Obviously, everyone here has heard those. The thing is, you can't get IPOs that cheap anymore because of the value of the dollar. Number one, right? So when you get a stock IPOing, what was once worth $2 in the 80s is now worth, I don't know, $16 right now anyway. So you have that, number one. And then number two, a lot of traders forget that there are plenty of IPOs out there right now that you can buy for $200 or less and then hold them for a long time. That's the thing, is you can always look back and go, oh, cool, what if? But it's like, all right, there's a lot of what ifs staring you in the face right now. You know? So this is one of them on Square. This is one of those. This IPO has not been out that long. You could throw $100 at this and literally own, I don't know, 4 shares, 5 shares. So Ryan says hindsight's always 20/20. It is, but the thing is, with Apple and Microsoft, what made them, especially with Apple, but what makes an IPO successful, in my opinion, is very simple. Number one, does the average person know how the company makes money? Or number two, could you explain to the average person how this company makes money? Right? Number three, do you know their product? Are you able to use their product? Are you able to buy their product? That's number three. So an Apple IPO, you could buy an Apple computer if you wanted to, right? You could go out and buy one. It was expensive at the time, but you could have bought it. I could buy a Square card reader tomorrow. You know how they make money. Are they inexpensive? Okay, then you can buy some. So yeah, hindsight is 20/20, but at some point we got to be owners rather than buyers. So even though if it's not that much money, think about if you put I forget the chart. I could probably find it really quick. It caused maybe 10 minutes of searching. But there's a chart that say like if you put $200 into 40 IPOs back in the 80s, Amazon, late 80s, early 90s, like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, not Microsoft. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. It was like the younger tech stocks back in the 80s, 90s. If you put in $200 in each one of those, how much you'd have? It was like 300 grand or something insane. When you would have invested like $2 grand up front. So all I'm getting at is there are those opportunities now. Yes, you have to do a little bit of due diligence, some, but it's not that much, right? You don't have to like peer over the paperwork. It's just really generally, do you know how a company makes money? And do you know how their product, and do you viably think they can last at any point in time? And for me, people are always going to be spending money. So Square will soon start accepting probably Bitcoin or other coins and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, Solid product, $100. You could own some. I like it. SBGI. This was requested yesterday. SBGI Sinclair broadcast. Let's see what this thing is doing. Ooh, I see why someone requested this one. Double bottom. Sinclair. Ryan says, I'll be watching it from this day forward. All right, man. There you go. Here is your resistance at 25. Old resistance, new support right there. So this thing was in a good Googa Mooga. Look at that channel. Wow. I never played that channel. Don't worry. I didn't make $14 million trading that thing, but I wish I could have. I wonder if I can use that to help me in the future. Here is a daily chart on Sinclair broadcast, and it does look like a double bottom. Of that, I have to agree. Looks like a double bottom. You guys can probably see it. Here's the long-term moving averages. We're probably right on top of them. Oh, we're in the middle of them. All right, cool. So since we're in the middle of the long terms, it's probably more bullish to neutral to me. So if you're looking at playing Sinclair, approach it with a bullish to neutral strategy, whatever that is for you. Herbalife, fictional HLF, just want to give this one for Shantai with the 65, 64. And I'm probably not saying your name right, and if I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. It might be Shanti. I'm probably butchering it either way, but you're butchering the market. You had two awesome spreads expiring today. Congratulations. So this trade was phenomenal. Shanti got into a bull put spread on that day. Hashtag buy low, sell high. Hashtag out of support. Hashtag here's your exponential moving averages. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. And that spread was below this gap action. That was the other part, right? It was right below the low of that. So on that bearish day, remember, keep that in mind, folks. If you are a credit spread or option selling fan, sell puts on bearish days when the market is selling, right? Buy into weakness, sell into strength. MasterCard was another one. So I made a very small chump change on MasterCard about a week ago, and Shanti got into the bear call spread expiring this Friday. So Shanti, congratulations on that one. You're the only trader I know in MasterCard right now. Here's Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. And Apple looks like it's not going to bounce off the 100 simple moving average. It might get real close. If Apple does not bounce here, which is totally fine if it doesn't, right? We were watching this one yesterday. I was watching it all day to see if it would bounce off the 100. If you bought it blind off the 100, there are some traders who did. Congrats. You're going to get real close to getting stopped out, and you might get stopped out on Monday or Tuesday. If you do, it's okay. Dust the shoulders off. It didn't work. No big deal. There will be plenty of times in the future where it will work. Apple, though, doesn't make it super easy. I trade Apple so much, I just know that it never makes it like, if it's too easy on Apple, if you're like, oh, wow, it's so simple, it's not going to work, unfortunately. So usually what Apple, this is a new Black Crow. What I can say is if we do gap up big and we run on Monday, Tuesday, hop in on this thing. If we break lower, I might look to shorter pullback. This could be the best thing to happen on Apple in a while. Hashtag just letting you know. Here's the weekly chart, and if we pull back down to 132.86, ladies and gentlemen, guess what that would be? Yeah, that would be a retest of its all-time high. They still have $240 billion in cash, by the way. All I'm saying is, for any of my Apple people, I might be 132.86 could be a good place to maybe snag some more shares, possibly snag some shares. I think this July week 1 covered call will expire worthless at 162.50. So that's pretty much it on Apple. Next on the list, DVAX. Oh man, I'm going slow again. Shoot. I'm just having so much fun chatting with you guys. DVAX, I wanted this trade. It did retest. It looks like I'm going to miss this one by pennies. Yep, just another one I'm going to miss by pennies. Okay, Well, let's see if I can trade it some other kind of way. I'm going to put it on the list for next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, DVAX, and we'll look at it then. All right, next on the list, FUAL. What is this? Rocket fuel? Rocket Man, burning up my fuse up here alone. Here's the weekly chart, and FUEL. Type in a 1 if you have no idea what this company does. I don't. You might know by the name, but it's probably not that. I have no idea what this company does. So again, this would be like, let's say this IPO'd right now. I wouldn't buy this IPO until I did more research anyway. I can't believe I didn't buy Ferrari. I'm still kicking myself for that one. That was dumb. FUEL. Okay. Resistance. No, just need the fire one. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what FUEL is going to do. I can't think much. Could it be a good buy low, sell high? Absolutely. It's not expensive. Here's my advice on FUEL. If you're looking at playing it, just do some research fundamentally, find out what it is. Buy low, sell high. All right. Oh boy, this is not going to create any controversy, right? WEED. Ryan says they're an ad tech company, predictive marketing. Ew, gross. Canopy Growth. Guys, here's my thoughts on medical marijuana. It's too easy. It's too obvious. Anytime you can guys tattoo this on your feet if you need to. If it's too obvious in the market, it won't work. If everybody's doing it, everybody's talking about it, everyone says buy, don't buy that thing. Everyone's like, oh, medical marijuana, if it becomes legal, then medical marijuana stocks are going to go up. No, no, no. Since it's my play on pot Cheeto stock. I mean, hey, the thing is, you got to think big picture. If you're going to play medical marijuana, I do have a really good video on medical marijuana. Play the industry. Is all I need. So think about the industry. I was talking about Philip Morris, Reynolds American. Tobacco companies are going to be a good way to invest in medical marijuana because they're going to buy out all the rights, licenses, all that stuff. What else is going to happen? Transports, banks that are going to do it. Light bulbs, people who are applying the supplies. I don't personally think this is going to recover anytime soon. If it does, or if it's going to, you need to break above the high of this pattern here on June 12 and 13. Ryan says, we just legalized pot and medical marijuana is kind of being absorbed into it. Exactly. That's the thing. So you got to figure out another way to you can't just buy weed stocks and make money, right? It's not going to be that easy. You got to think of the bigger portion. That's something you can remember for the rest of your life. And that's just my opinion, but I think I'm right on that. In that same sector, let me see if I can find EMC on the TSX. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Maurizia, that you want to look at? Is this another weed shell company? TSXV EMC. I think this is it. Yeah. So this one does look like one. Same thing. It looks like it's going to continue to go lower. This is a nice hammer candle. This week's candle, if it closes above this week's candle, it's maybe bullish. If you are trading these stocks, put in 100 or 200 and that's it. Don't try to get rich with it. It very likely won't happen. And if it does, it's going to happen in 1 or 2 days and sell it. Right? So something like this. If you have some money in some of these weed stocks or whatever, and they pop really big, sell them because that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to run and then they're going to get sold. 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna go to nothing, go huge, and then sell off. AKA pump and dump. All right, next on the list we got Momo. Yeah, I'm going real slow. All right, Momo. Here's the weekly chart. Looks pretty good. Daily chart, some Morningstar reversal pattern. Personally, I want this to still bounce off the 100. So here's the 100 simple. This is a fun stock. Don't know what they do, but Morningstar reversal, if it can break above this high, should go a little bit more bullish than bearish. Last time, it did not bounce off the 100 beautifully. It did bounce off the 200 very nice, though. So I'm kind of thinking Momo calms down a little bit. If you're looking at playing this one, I'm thinking bull put spreads, credit spreads, put sales, owning shares, doing covered calls. Let it rest a little because it has made a big move. This is a wave 3. This is a wave 3. So I think a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes viable. So that's just my thoughts on Momo. I could be wrong, but if you're looking at buying, just look to get it a little bit lower. Netflix, for example, NFLX. Shout outs to those traders who just outplayed me. There was a few traders who outplayed me pretty badly on the Netflix weekly option trade. So I set the trade up, and most traders had, well, I should say most. I got like 5 or 6 emails. Some traders, a select few, bought right off the 100 rather than buying there because that's really what I wanted. So they set up the option trade according to that. And Frank, you're making money. Ahmed, you're making money. Congrats, Santi. Well done. You know, good job, gentlemen, playing that one better than I did. I did get stopped out of Netflix, unfortunately, by about 40 cents. I thought I priced the option right. I still think I did. I think implied volatility got sucked out. Kevin, good job with the bull put spread. Bull put spread, in my opinion, definitely was the way to go on Netflix. There are some traders in on those as well. But that's how I would look to play it. Netflix is either own shares, do bull put spread longer term, or do calls longer term. I love the pullback, and I think it goes higher from here. So it looks pretty good. Chandra says, thanks, Jay, Brad, and LaToya, and all for a great week. Have a great weekend. You too, my friend. I'll see you on Monday. So VRX, not much going on VRX. I had a little bit of a bullish gap. I got some July $11 puts. Looks like I'm going to lose on those. I still have a full month. So not much is happening on VRX. A little bit of a bullish candle. For those of you who are bullish VRX fans, look for it to continue higher on Monday, Tuesday, as today is a nice new white soldier. But be quick about that bullish trade because VRX loves to get shorted right here. US Steel, nothing happening. A little bearish. It's just going to chop around, I think, on US Steel. We're going to hang out down here. We're going to do a whole lot of nothing for a little bit. So get ready to play a short, very small, very ugly channel on US Steel. It's probably going to look and feel like a lot like this channel over here. Something like this that happened back in early 2015. Maybe a little bit smaller, but I still think it's a good buy low, sell high overall. Yeah, I'm really slow today. AMD, looking forward to pullbacks to the 200 simple. I don't know if it's going to do that, but if you have an aggressive position or aggressive plan on it, have a little bit more of an aggressive stop, conservative around 926. Buy low, sell high on AMD into that 200. That one looks pretty nice to me. Disney, just more or less hanging out. It did have a pretty good bearish candle today, trying to see if it's going to bounce off that 200 for a longer term play. If you are playing Disney, there are some traders in some spreads on it. 200 simple. You got a little bit of a lower shadow. Here's the weekly chart. Nothing on Disney yet, but it is coming into a longer term buy zone for anyone who wants to get into any type of longer term trade. Shorter term trade, I don't see anything yet on Disney. GDXJ, what's that one doing? Vector Gold Miners, nothing. Another inside candle. So you got 3 in a row. So whoever requested GDXJ, keep your eyes on the prize for a breakout in any direction early next week. Today is the second inside day candle in a row. That won't last super long. FFIN, First Financial Bank shares. A little bit light on, let's see, a weekly chart. Yeah, nice little double bottom. So this one, like most financials, have broken out. This one has also continued above its 2008 highs. Here's your big picture double bottom right there. It did close above the neckline and it did retest. I don't see anything that looks deliciously phenomenal on a shorter term time frame, at least right now. I like the volume. I like the count. I like the volume today. This looks like a short stair step pattern. So again, if it breaks down, it's going to head back down to 38. If it breaks up, it's probably going to slowly chug its way up to 46. But otherwise, it looks like a pretty good trend on FFIN. Google, G-O-O-G-L. Google today, gapping down, bouncing off the 50 yesterday. Very, very nice inside day candle. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and jot in your notepads. I'm watching Google very closely to bounce above there, just like that on Monday. It's on a support. So if it bounces, some volume is coming in, buy off of the 50 bounce, make it a quick trade because, again, techs really do need to rest. I don't think this happens on Google. I think if anything, we bounce, we roll back over, we start consolidating up here. The tech stocks need to consolidate. So that's just my theory. But if I play Google bullish, it'll be a quick bounce. CELG trading up higher, making a new good high, some good volume. My buddy Adrian is in some January 19 calls. I like the volume today. Here's the weekly chart. And really, we looked at this one a lot the last 2 or 3 weeks. These two candles, pretty bullish pattern that they had very, very similar lows. So therefore, on a weekly chart, you can look at it, had a great bullish run in 2012, 13, 14, 15, and is now in a big distribution phase. Looks more bullish to neutral to me in intermediate time frame. Longer term looks bullish. Buy low, sell high, CELG, looking pretty good. Daily chart on this one. Daily chart doesn't look bad. In fact, let me put this one on the list for Monday because this might be a swing trade opportunity. I need to plan this trade obviously over at least 18 hours. But let me just see if we get an inside day candle on Monday, which I highly doubt. But if we do, I like the volume from today a lot. And I like this, whatever this pattern is down here, double bottom or something. I don't know. It looks pretty good. Next on the list, we're almost done. Last one to go is Chipotle, ticker symbol CMG. And Chipotle did do exactly what I thought it would do from about a week and a half ago. Had this support right here. It broke that support. It retested old resistance, new support, and we're trading down into the 100. That'll be the next target on CMG around 445. Is it going to hang out there? And is it going to pause there? Phenomenal question. I don't know, but it is failing this 100 simple moving average like I failed algebra. So if it trades lower, ultimately, a great buying spot would be around the 385, 389 price range. If we trade to these moving averages and start bouncing, however, it could be a fun credit spread opportunity in the middle of this channel. Might be a good longer term spread opportunity, but shorter term on CMG for those 2 or 3 who are in bearish, looks good. Target is the 100 simple moving average. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Finance Friday. Sorry, I went a little bit long, but I guess that is a very appropriate way to end the fact that it was an amazing open house week. Thank you for all the kind words, testimonies, verbal, uplifting, motivational messages. I really appreciate each and every one of your energy. It's just been an absolute pleasure. So Monday is Merchant Monday. Make sure to sign up before Monday. For those who plan on joining the trading room, I really don't see any reason why you shouldn't. I can't really think of one. If you're busy at work, that's cool. I record the afternoon session. You can at least listen to it after work, or you can watch it on the weekends. You can grind out an amazing opportunities in your trading career. Join us next week. What do you want to look at on Monday, my good friend? I got on the list G3 Apparel, MIK, Macy's. Justin said, Jeremy, thank you. This week's been great. I'll be joining your room for sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, brother. Look forward to having another Justin in there, man. Team Justin, going strong. I like it. GDEN, El Pollo Loco, TRCO, Foot Locker, CELG. Any other stocks we need to add? Let's add Macy's already on there. Sears, JCPenney, Costco, Kroger, Whole Foods. We'll just talk about the Amazon buyout. Amazon. Anything else that you want to look at on Monday? Procter & Gamble, Mr. Wheeler, you got it. We'll do that. Juno, you got it. We'll look at that one. Very fun, very cool, and very exciting. All right, my friends. Well, I will see you later. Have a great weekend. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Hope to see you all on Monday. This is me signing out. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you are incredible. Thank you for helping us with our mission to enrich lives. You rock. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on Monday. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.